Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. This is a 5-minute review of Proud Mary from 2018. The film stars Taraji P. Henson, Billy Brown, Jahi Winston, Neal McDonough, Margaret Avery, Xander Berkeley and Danny Glover. The film is directed by Jahi. He's most recently worked on things like London Has Fallen. He's also done some directing for TV on things like Banshee. So, what is the film about? Taraji P. Henson plays Mary. She's a hit woman who works for a crime family in Boston. And at the start of the film, so it's not really a spoiler, we see that she takes a job to kill this guy, which she does successfully, but then she hears someone else in the apartment. And creeping through the room, she sees that there's a kid playing on his PlayStation or something with his headphones on, so he's completely oblivious to what's happened. She sneaks out of the apartment but obviously feels guilty. The film then jumps forward in time and we see that she's still working for this crime family, but now she's shadowing the boy who's become an orphan, and his life has become much worse, if anything, because he's now a runner working for another guy in a different crime family who treats him quite badly, beats him, and she feels even more guilty for having put this young boy in this position. She then does something on impulse which makes the whole situation even worse, pits the two crime families against each other, and she's caught in the middle because she has to pretend that she doesn't know what's going on and yet also support those people who've essentially raised her. Danny Glover plays the head of the crime family that she lives in, and he's a sort of surrogate father to her because back in the day she was also a child on the streets who was picked up by him and raised and given a life and a career and training and so on. But the problem is Mary actually wants to get out of the business, and it's a case of once you're in, you can't really get out, so that's something she's struggling with, combined with the problems of trying to deal with this young boy and the guilt surrounding him and his situation, and the fact that she has caused this war between the two crime families, with each one blaming the other for having started it. The film is definitely one that's more emotional than something you would expect if you had a Liam Neeson type film or a John Wick where there's a lot of action. This film is much slower. There are action scenes in it and they are really good. Taraji P. Henson is fantastic in the lead role and she's really convincing as a hit woman. However, the script, despite it only being an hour and a half, has some problems. It relies on quite a few tropes, and the other main issue with the film is that it has a lot of dramatic irony because the audience already knows what Mary has done and none of the other main characters do, so we're essentially waiting for them to find out because you know they're going to at some point and everything's going to come spilling out and the film does end in a big dramatic shootout, which isn't a spoiler because you would expect this kind of film to build to that sort of thing, which it does, but it's how it gets there is the main issue. I think the cast do really well with what they've got. The two lead roles are obviously Mary and also the young lad. His performance is outstanding, particularly the emotional scenes when he's with Taraji. He doesn't really understand the fullness of what's going on to begin with, but as the film unfolds, he finds out more about the lifestyle that he's been brought into and also her, which has a few unpleasant surprises for him. Danny Glover isn't really given much to do in this film and he essentially sleepwalks through the role. The same with Neal McDonough. He's in it for a little bit and he has a few small scenes but nothing with particular emotion. However, the best performance is Taraji P. Henson's because she gets to show all of her acting chops in this film. I've been watching it all the way back to Person of Interest and I know that she's outstanding at action but also great drama, and we get to see that in this film. So that's probably the best thing about it. The rest of it has some problems, as I mentioned, with the script. The pacing is sometimes a little off. The action is good when it happens, but there doesn't seem to be enough of it for me. It is good to see her in the lead role for this kind of a film because very easily it could have been one of the umpteenth Liam Neeson type films that he's done or had a Mel Gibson in the lead, so it's nice to see her instead, bringing more warmth and emotion that you would probably get from one of their films, but also sense of humour because there are some nice touches in this film as well. So I really wanted to like this film, but unfortunately it ended up being quite forgettable, and it's not really the film that I was hoping for. So I'm going to give it 2 out of 5 and say it's not bad, but it could have been much better. Have you seen Proud Mary? If so, get in touch with us. You can contact us via email, Facebook and Twitter. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel and keep an eye out for new videos every week.